Many new divers will make potentially life-threatening mistakes on their first initial dives. New divers have a lot to learn in a very short amount of time in a very unnatural environment. In this video, we'll break down the 5 most common and deadly mistakes that new divers make and how you can be prepared for them to become a safer and more confident diver. To start things off, there's a fundamental skill that separates novice divers from the seasoned pros, one that could mean the difference between life and death underwater. What is this elusive ability and why do so many divers struggle to master it? Let me introduce Sam, a new diver that just got his open water certificate and is ready to explore the underwater world. However, Sam's next dive takes an unexpected turn. As he descends into the vibrant coral reef, Sam finds himself constantly fidgeting with his buoyancy control device, BCD. He's either floating up towards the surface or sinking down, kicking up clouds of silt to obscure his vision and irritate the nearby marine life. What Sam doesn't realize is that his struggle with buoyancy control is more than just an inconvenience. It's a potential hazard. Buoyancy control is often called the holy grail of scuba diving, and for a good reason. It's the ability to maintain your depth, neither rising or sinking. When divers like Sam struggle with buoyancy control, they often overcompensate by constantly adjusting their BCD or kicking to maintain their depth. This not only disturbs marine life and damages fragile ecosystems, but also rapidly depletes energy and air supply, and can lead to uncontrolled ascents or descents, both of which can result in serious injuries or even fatalities. The danger of bad buoyancy is that if you ascend unexpectedly or too quickly, it can risk decompression sickness, and this is often referred to also as the bends. It can also cause lung overexpansion, which is where the air inside your lungs expands as you ascend, causing them to expand too much past their natural limit. Both of these can be fatal. Good buoyancy control not only enhances your enjoyment, but also significantly extends your dive time by conserving energy and air. By having precise control of your depth, you can have better control preventing rapid ascent or descent. So how can divers like Sam improve their buoyancy control? It starts before you even enter the water. Performing a proper weight check at the surface is crucial. You should be able to float at eye level with an empty BCD and full tank of air, and then sink with exhalation and rise back to the surface with inhalation. Remember, your weight requirements can change based on factors like water salinity, wetsuit thickness, and even body composition. Further, at the end of the dive, you should be able to comfortably hold your safety stop at the end of the dive without needing to swim downwards. Once underwater, focus on using your breath to fine-tune your buoyancy. A slight inhale will cause you to rise slightly, while exhaling will help you sink. By mastering this technique, you'll rely less on your BCD for small adjustments. Practice hovering motionless in the water, using only your breath to maintain your position for a number of minutes, like 2 to 3 minutes. It takes time and patience, but the payoff is immense. Don't get discouraged if you don't nail it right away. Buoyancy control is a skill that develops over time with practice. Remember, even the most seasoned divers continually work on improving their buoyancy control. Our next mistake is a ticking time bomb that is entirely preventable. What if I told you that a 60-second routine could be the difference between life and death underwater? It's a practice that even experienced divers sometimes neglect, but its importance cannot be overstated. Let me show you how Sam's eagerness to get into the water leads to a potentially dangerous situation. In his rush to explore the underwater world, Sam hastily puts on his gear and jumps into the water without looking over his equipment. He quickly realizes after underwater that he has forgotten his dive computer and, more importantly, forgot to turn on his air. In this situation, Sam will be fine, but it highlights the importance of the safety check in preventing potentially fatal situations. Dive planning and systematic equipment checks are fundamental to safe diving. There are numerous systems to create a structured approach that ensures all critical components are verified before entering the water. It's important to always try to set up your gear in the same way and build a system out of it. Then do a final inspection on yourself, and then, as a redundancy, do a buddy check with someone else as an added measure. Have them check the same way you have and you check their gear. This is redundancy. And assume someone forgot something. I go into this process much more in depth in the video, which I'll link above if you want more details, and I'll also put it in the description below. This gear inspection involves setting up your gear, ensuring everything is in good condition, and verifying everything is on and attached to you somehow before you dive. Then, never forgetting the extra redundancy of a buddy check, because you can always assume that someone forgot something. Make that assumption. Imagine Sam realizing mid-dive that his air gauge is malfunctioning, leaving him unsure of his remaining air supply. Or consider the panic that could ensue if he discovers his weight belt was improperly secured and fell off, affecting his ability to maintain proper buoyancy. These scenarios underscore why a thorough pre-dive checks are not negotiable. The real key is finding a system to make sure you can do your safety checks consistently every time. Do things in the same order and make the system feel like a required part of diving. It should feel as a natural part of the process, and you run through it the same way every time. Regular inspection and maintenance of your diving gear between dives is important. Your equipment is your lifeline underwater. Neglecting its upkeep can lead to critical failures during a dive. This includes having your regulator serviced annually and inspecting your beastie for any signs of wear or damage. Looking into our next mistake, it's important to understand that there's an invisible force that can transform an exciting underwater adventure into a perilous situation. Have you ever wondered why different diving certifications have specific depth limits and what could happen if you ignore them? Let me show you how Sam's curiosity led him into dangerous waters. During a group dive, Sam notices some more experienced divers descending deeper into the blue. Feeling confident after mastering his buoyancy and control, he decides to follow them down, despite his limited training. As he descends further, he begins to feel a subtle change in his mental state. The vibrant colors of the reef seem more intense. A sense of euphoria washes over him. What Sam doesn't realize is he's experiencing early stages of nitrogen narcosis, a condition that can severely impair judgment and coordination underwater. Dive limits for your certification exist for a crucial reason: to protect divers from the physiological effects of increased depth. As you descend, the pressure increases, causing nitrogen to dissolve more rapidly into your bloodstream. This can lead to nitrogen narcosis, often described as a feeling of drunk underwater. It's not just about the immediate effects though. Deeper dives also significantly increase your air consumption rate, which can lead to running out of air if you're not paying attention. Further, deeper depths increase the amount of nitrogen your body absorbs, which makes it more risky to come to the surface in an event of a failure, and making the safety and decompression stops to allow the nitrogen to leave your body naturally becomes much more important. So how can divers like Sam stay safe while still enjoying the thrill of exploration? The key is to respect your certification limits and focus on gradual skill progression. Each dive certification level is designed to introduce new skills and knowledge incrementally, ensuring you're prepared for the challenges of deeper dives. Instead of pushing depth limits, focus on mastering skills like perfect buoyancy control, efficient air consumption, and underwater navigation within your certified range. The reason all this isn't thrown at you during your open water certification is simply it'd be too much. You cannot run before you can walk. The progressive certifications build on top of each other, assuming you've had time to practice on your prior certification level, and then you can take the course that will take you to the next level, which will certify you for deeper dives and throw more skills that build off of your fundamentals. It's worth mentioning there are many certifications that won't increase your maximum dive depth that count as specialty courses that help specialize at other important things other than depth, such as night, dry suit, and rescue courses, and etc. It's important to realize that staying within your limits doesn't mean limiting your diving experience. In fact, some of the most vibrant and diverse marine ecosystems are found in shallower waters. By respecting the depth limits, you're not only ensuring your safety, but also allowing yourself to fully enjoy and appreciate the underwater world without the added stress of operating beyond your training. I also want to add that although wrecks and caves may not always be deep, those are also require specialized training, and I recommend never going inside or penetrating into an area that is enclosed without proper guidance and training. These training will prepare you to handle the situations when things go wrong and how to navigate enclosed environments safely. Remember, the goal of diving is not to go deep, but to explore and appreciate the underwater world safely. As you gain more experience and proper training, you'll naturally progress to deeper dives if you want to. This gradual approach ensures that when you venture deeper, you'll have the skills and knowledge to handle any situation that arises. Our next potentially fatal mistake takes us to a crucial connection every diver needs to maintain beneath the waves. It's not just a physical tether, but also an important redundancy that can make all the difference in an emergency. Let me show you why this system isn't just a recommendation, it's a vital safety net that could save your life. Let's return to Sam, our enthusiastic new diver. He's feeling confident after a few successful dives and decides to explore a vibrant coral reef on his own during a group dive. As he swims away from his buddy, he's unaware of the potential dangers lurking in the seemingly peaceful underworld. The buddy system is a cornerstone of scuba diving safety for a good reason. It's not just about having someone to share the experience with, it's about having a partner who can assist you in case of equipment failure, disorientation, or a medical emergency. When Sam ventures off alone, he's essentially cutting his lifeline to immediate help. If something goes wrong, Sam is on his own and must be self-reliant. Many instructors and very experienced divers have told me they will never dive alone. Someone without many years of experience and confidence is likely far from being fully self-reliant. There are courses for self-reliance and how to do it safely by carrying all the redundancies another dive buddy would bring you. But I have to urge you that is not fully recommended still, as you can never entirely be free of risk diving solo. Only reduce the risk as much as possible. Keep that in mind. Now, imagine Sam encounters a problem with his regulator or even experiences a sudden cramp. Without a buddy nearby, these manageable issues could quickly escalate into a life-threatening situation. A dive partner could provide an alternate air source, assist with equipment problems, or even help with a controlled emergency ascent if needed. Going back to the nitrogen psychosis discussed earlier, if Sam does get narked and starts doing something no sane person would do, then a buddy can help snap Sam back to reality. Hey Sam, come back to us. But the buddy system isn't just about emergencies, it's about teamwork and a shared responsibility. When divers work together, they can keep an eye on each other's air consumption, depth, and dive time. They can also alert each other to interesting marine life or potential hazards, enhancing both safety and enjoyment of the dive. To avoid falling into a trap of solo diving, when you started your dive with the dive group, always discuss and agree on a dive plan with your buddy before entering the water. Establish clear communication signals and stick together throughout the dive. If you need to get your buddy's attention, a gentle tap or light shake works well. Remember to perform regular buddy checks during the dive. ensuring both of you are comfortable and have sufficient air. Our last potentially fatal mistake that can turn a peaceful dive into a dangerous encounter. This seemingly innocent behavior could provoke an aggressive response and potentially cost you your life. Let me show you how Sam's excitement gets the better of him during his next dive. As he descends into the crystal clear waters, he spots a solo shark cruising along the reef. Eager to capture the perfect photo, Sam swims closer, chasing after it. Little does he know, his actions are about to put him in harm's way as another diver identifies the shark as an oceanic whitetip, a shark known for potentially aggressive tendencies. Chasing marine wildlife might seem harmless, but it's a risky behavior that can lead to serious consequences. When divers pursue sea creatures, they often underestimate the potential for harm to both themselves and the marine ecosystem. Animals that appear docile can quickly become aggressive when they feel threatened, turning a peaceful observation into a dangerous confrontation. Not to mention, for new divers, following something and taking pictures is called task loading, and they likely will stop paying attention to things like their air supply, buoyancy, and maybe at risk of other dangers we mentioned earlier in this video. And worse, are likely not near their dive buddy if something goes wrong. Imagine Sam's surprise when this seemingly harmless shark he's been chasing suddenly turns and starts zigzagging wildly before him, showing a very threatening display. In his eagerness to get closer, Sam triggers the shark to start circling closer while it continues its rapid and violent display. Suddenly, Sam's dive buddy catches up to him, and together the shark decides Sam and his buddy are a threat it cannot take on, and so it leaves along its way. This scenario illustrates how quickly curiosity can turn into danger when divers don't respect marine life space. But the risks aren't just limited to sharks. Even larger animals like sea turtles, mantas, or dolphins can be stressed when pursued, and potentially leading to aggressive behavior. So how can divers like Sam safely observe marine life without putting themselves or other animals at risk? The key is to practice responsible diving techniques. Maintain a safe distance from all marine creatures, allowing them to approach you if they choose. Use slow, calm movements to avoid startling animals, and never attempt to touch or feed them. Practice your buoyancy control, slow breathing, and hover as still as you can be, showing calmness. And you'll find that most animals will start to be curious in you. They will start to approach you slowly once they determine that you're not a threat to their own safety. Remember, effective wildlife observation is about patience and respect. By remaining still and observing from a distance, you're more likely to witness natural behaviors and have more meaningful encounters. This approach not only ensures your safety, but also helps preserve the underwater environment for future explorers. It's also crucial to understand the natural behaviors of marine species you might encounter. Knowledge is power underwater, and being able to recognize signs of stress or aggression in animals can help you avoid potentially dangerous situations. Before diving in a new area, research the local marine life and any specific guidelines before interacting with them. Ultimately, the goal of scuba diving is to become a passive observer of the underwater world, not an active participant in the ecosystem, unless you know what you're doing and are trying to improve it. By adopting this mindset, you'll not only enhance your own safety, but also contribute to the conservation of these precious marine habitats. Our new diver Sam has a lot to learn, and he made a lot of mistakes in this video, but please do take note of all the things Sam could have done better, because scuba diving is about a continuous learning process. Every dive is an opportunity to refine your skills and expand your knowledge. Stay curious, but always prioritize safety. As you gain experience, you'll find everything we covered in this video will make sense, and it'll help give you the guidelines that enhance your underwater adventures rather than limiting them. If you're eager to master the art of safe diving, I've created a series specifically for beginners looking to excel in recreational scuba. It's packed with practical tips and techniques to help you Become the diver you always wanted to be, a strong and safe diver. Check it out here. And until next time.